Let's make sure we're recording today. Yes, we are. And welcome back. We are in week 8 of our 12-week course for creating a mind with Heart Compass Life Navigation at the Mind with Heart Virtual Learning Center. And this is part 2 of module 3. And what we're learning in this module is about bringing together the heart and the mind. At first, we talked about how to get the brain ready, how to balance your brain, get it ready so that it could connect or hear what the heart has to say, because in part 2, we learned that in fact your heart is always connected to your brain. It's just a matter of clearing that connection. And thank you so much for being here. And if you have any questions, I will either answer them at the end of this lecture or in the live Q&A, which will be next week. So, or both, we'll see. But if you've missed any of the earlier modules or lectures, you can become a contributing community member. I extended the 50% off grand opening special a few days because we had a Memorial Day weekend, and I moved this to a Thursday instead of a Wednesday, and I didn't want anybody to just get dropped off. So I extended it a few days. You still have a chance to do that. It gives you access to all of the recorded lessons. You can, they'll be packaged as a course, which you can download and keep on your own device, or you can have access to the online school where you can stream them live at any time. And I'll talk more about that at the end of this lecture. But in this module, module 3, we're talking about the heart and the mind, not the heart and the brain. Last time we talked about what is, or where is your brain? Or not where's your brain, sorry, it's in here. Where is your mind? Your mind is not in your brain. So what is the mind then? Well, your mind is the space and the time that holds all of the thoughts and the ideas and the images that the brain is using to create this 3D holographic physical reality. And this is key to our life navigation system because we are observing this manifestation and we are sending it back to the heart for correction. So it's important to realize that we are not just victims of this separate physical world, but that it is actually part of us, part of who we really are, because the mind is part of who we really are. So if mind is space-time, okay, and space and time, science has discovered, is filled with infinite energy and information. We call it the 0-point field. Years ago, I read Lynn McTaggart's book, The Field, and it was a life changer for me. I highly recommend it, even though I read it 15 years ago. But also, if you just look up Lynn McTaggart and The Field, she works with intention, has all kinds of wonderful things. But the point is that we've discovered that this physical reality of ours is actually not physical, that space, for example, every atom, every cell, everything that seems physical is 99.9% space. But space is not empty, okay? We're finding that space has more energy in it than, a cubic centimeter of space has more energy in it than perhaps all of the physical matter that we know of in the physical universe today. So, and since your mind is the space and time that holds this physical reality, then your mind is a field of infinite energy and information. So the question now is, how do we access that field? Well, your brain is translating that energy and information into 3D holographic reality, okay? And remember, I told you that I had that experience where I was in deep meditation. When I first moved up here in the mountains, I spent a lot of time up here without a car. And I was meditating one day under a big leaf maple tree. Voice in my head said, "So you want to know the nature of reality?" I was writing metaphysicsforlife.com at that time. And I said, "Sure." And they said, "Well, open your eyes." And I looked at the tree and it looked like it was made of glass, like that glass right there. And then the little voice said, "Now watch this." And what looked like liquid light flowed into the form, the shape of the tree until it was filled with this light. And then I watched as the little balls of light turned inside out and appeared to be physical. Now, it took me a while to process this experience. I learned some things from Nassim Haramein about how uh, things can be turned inside out, even if it's a sphere. And so I eventually came to realize that, okay, this space and time is filled with these 0 points, photons of light. They can get turned inside out and make our physical reality. But this is what we're doing. I still wasn't sure what our role was in all of this. Okay, how are we connected to all of this? What does this have to do with me? Who is making this? Who's pouring the light into the tree? Who's pouring the light, the water into the glass? Yeah, I don't show it that to you, that there. Okay, so what I finally came to understand is that this field of 0 points, okay, there is a 0 point in our own heart, okay? And the bottom line is that these 0 points are not different 0 points. There's only one 0 point. Now, I cannot provide scientific evidence for this one, okay? Because this is something that I have come to through realization through my own experience. But the meaning for this, that there's only one 0 point, I'm going to make clear as we go through the next few slides, all right? So the point is that each of these 0 points in space and time is emitting its own electromagnetic field of energy and information. And each of these 0 points is connected to the blueprint, the source, higher self, whatever it is that is generating this energy and information to create the forms. It could be an apple, it could be a bird, it could be a tree, it could be your dog, your neighbor, it could be any cell in your body. Every atom has a 0 point in the middle that is generating an electromagnetic field of energy and information to create this physical reality. Now, the 0 point in the heart is special to us because it is our unique point of view within this infinite field of energy and information, this infinite 0 point field. The 0 point in your heart is your center for your unique point of view within this. And that's why the electromagnetic field from the heart is thousands of times stronger than that of the brain. Yes, the brain has a 0 point. Yes, the brain has a 0 point, and there is a field. Every organ, every cell in your body, every atom in your body has one. However, it is the heart which generates by far the largest and most powerful field. And that is because that is our point of view, okay? That creates our unique life experience. The point of this is that even though the 0 point in my heart is the same 0 point in your heart, the same 0 point in your neighbor, the same 0 point as every human being on this planet, the reason why we each have a unique life experience is that that 0 point is occupying a unique point in space and time. But there's some amazing meaning and power in this, and I'm going to explain why I'm telling you all of this in a moment. So one of the things that we can do, because the 0 point in our heart is the same 0 point everywhere else, is that we can do things like remote viewing. We can have psychic experiences like precognition and psychic ability. We can move through the 0 point of the heart to connect to source, spirit, God, our higher self, whatever it is that we access going through that event horizon where all of this energy and information is coming from. And people who have near-death experiences and that type of thing, they describe going into a field of pure white light. That is the energy part of energy and information. That is the light of spirit. Okay, that's what I mean when I talk about the light of spirit. Somebody in the previous lecture asked me, what do you mean, light of spirit? Well, space and time are filled with infinite energy and information. It's coming from somewhere. It's coming from a source. The 0 point is our connection to that source through our heart, okay? But if you lose that connection, for example, in a near-death experience and then come back, then you have that memory of seeing that field of white light, all right? So that is the nature of our connection, okay, with the heart to the mind. That's just the nature of the connection. What is the meaning, the purpose? What can we do with it? How can we influence that 0 point field? That is the mind, our mind. Okay, well, this is where we get into a little bit of quantum physics. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about entanglement here because what we have found, scientists have found, I have not done these experiments myself personally, is that if you take a photon and divide it in, split it in two, and send it in two different directions, even miles apart, and you spin or wiggle one of them, the other one is affected the same way. Okay, that is at the quantum level. The 0 point exists absolutely at the quantum level. So what happens in your heart and in my heart, okay, in that 0 point, it wiggles or affects every single 0 point. Are you beginning to understand the significance of this? And the reason I'm bringing this up is that so many of us have wondered, okay, if I am using things like law of attraction or spiritual healing and I'm helping myself in my own life, but I'm watching the rest of the world fall apart around me, what can I do to help? Ironically and wonderfully, by doing this spiritual work and helping yourself, that is the only way that we actually can help everybody else. I'm not saying not to go out and take action and grow food and build tiny houses and do all the wonderful things that I love to do, to contribute. But where we really make the significant difference is when we are creating a mind with heart, using Heart Compass Life Navigation, and replacing fear-based belief with love-based truth. And I'm going to explain that a little bit more. Stick with me here. But the way we influence the field is when we meditate, okay? And we focus on the heart and we bring ourselves into that peaceful place. Research has shown that when a group of people are meditating and then you go out in the city, you will find that people are feeling happier for no reason at all, or that crime rates drop, or that violence is reduced. I had an experience in my own life when I started creating a mind with heart. I found that I could go into a bar. I loved going into bars because I like live music, and I once walked into a local bar and there were some guys having a brawl on the floor. The moment I walked through that door, one of them just looked in my face and they just got up, shook themselves off, and smiled, and went back to playing pool or whatever they were doing. And you might say it's a coincidence, but I don't know. They were right in the heat of that brawl. And I walked through the door and it was like that. And I was just really in that space at that moment. Is there any way to prove that? No, it's coincidental. But when we do that, when we create that heart coherence, we are having that influence on the field. But I believe, because there's only one 0 point, and the 0 point in my heart is the same as the 0 point in that guy brawling on the floor, that when I do that shift in my own heart, that it shifts in other people's hearts as well. So HeartMath has found that when we create heart coherence, we can have an impact on other people who are close to us or in the room. But I believe that we can also have an impact globally, that we're not just all connected, we really are all one right here, one in the same heart. That is, so this New Age concept that we are all one, we're beginning to find that there is basis for it, that this is reality. Now with Heart Compass Life Navigation, though, we're taking it even a step further, because in life navigation, we're not just temporarily changing our own state, which is wonderful. You temporarily change the way you think, the way you feel, and it changes everything instantly. But what about long-term enduring shifts in consciousness? We believe that, humanity is going through an evolution in consciousness. What is helping to make that happen? Well, when we are taking false fear-based beliefs, okay, identifying them, and moving activity in our brain and using our hands and writing it down, then we are replacing them with love-based truth. We are transforming them in the mind. Remember, I talked about how, your eye sees. Okay, if we lived in the eye, then we would be in a two-dimensional upside down world. But it goes to the brain, and the brain makes this 3D holographic reality. Well, the brain, if we teach it to send it to the heart, like we do in Heart Compass Life Navigation, all right, then the heart takes that light of spirit, which has been turned inside out by the brain to create 3D reality, and makes it right side up again. So that our perception of reality, so that the substance, it's not just our perception. Okay, I want to be really clear here. We are giving substance to thought forms with love-based truth, with the light of spirit that has been turned inside out and then right side up again. And this has enduring consequences, all right? Because it's not just happening in your mind, in your experience, right? There is a universal mind. So when you create this, when you give love-based truth substance to the money in your life, to a relationship in your life, to your body, to your home, to anything, okay, to food, whatever it is, then it's opening up that potential in every single heart on the planet. And I believe that's why we're seeing this massive shift, because as these shifts are happening through the heart and the mind, it opens that potential for everyone. All right. And that's why we're heading in that direction. So the beauty of it is that when you're doing this in your own life, you're doing it on a planetary level as well. Now, I promised you that I would tell you how to do this on autopilot, or that this whole system would eventually go on autopilot, so that every time you encounter something, that you don't have to go running to your chart, to go running back to your device, you know, to open it up and do this. What we want to do is get to the point where our heart and mind and body will automatically do this. And when you are in the beginning, using your awareness to identify the fear-based beliefs that are giving substance to a particular thing in your life, and then you write it down and you move the activity in the brain, and then you access the heart and get the love-based truth and write it down and confirm it and file it away, you are actually creating new pathways, new bundles of nerves in your brain, so that as the brain continues to create physical reality, which it always will, it will start to automatically send that to the heart for transformation. So you're perceiving the world, the brain is turning it inside out, and it goes, okay, I need to send it to the heart. And then miracles start to happen in your life. This is where the miracles come from, okay? You're reestablishing a new pattern in your brain, in your mind, in your heart, using your body, everything, heart, mind, body, soul, spirit. If you've ever taken one of my courses, that's the title. And that's why, because this is a total transformation. But you're not just doing it in your own life. Okay, when you start doing this and it's on autopilot in your own life, it opens up that potential in every single heart, that this can go on autopilot in anyone's heart. So as we use Heart Compass Life Navigation, we are contributing to the conscious evolution of humanity, even as we are creating the life that our heart truly desires. I know that when I first was exposed to the law of attraction, myself and many others, probably millions of others, were going, we would see the movie The Secret and all these scenes of yachts and mansions and tons of money and lots of cars and a lot of spiritual teachers. That's what they were teaching. Hey, I've got a garage with 5 sports cars. That means, isn't that what you want? Use law of attraction. And we're going, but what about the environment? What about social needs? What about all these things? And the reality is that we don't have to have all of that stuff. Our heart knows what our soul's purpose truly is. And when we connect to that and we create it for ourselves, we not only improve our own personal lives and create the life our heart desires, but we create that pathway. All right. We are creating that pathway for anyone who has a heart to participate and to do the same thing. And I believe that we're seeing this. I know if you watch the news, I watched the news for a little while to find out, hey, is anything changing? And actually, this stuff is starting to peek through. It's starting to peek through. But for the most part, they still dig for the bad news. Don't go there. If we see what's really happening, I know that the worst things are happening, but also the best things are happening right now. And we're opening this potential for where we can go with it. All right. So if this interests you, if you want to be a part of this conscious evolution while creating the life that your heart truly desires, with your own relationships, with the people who are closest to mean the most to you, with with your own living environment, with your own money issues, whatever it is, then you can, practice this. And if you're just joining us now, then you can become a contributing community member, and get access to the first modules, learn how to get your brain ready, learn how to harmonize the connection between the heart and the brain, and to realize that as you are creating a mind with heart, that you are influencing not only your own personal life, where you will see immediate results, where you will experience what happens in your life, but you will also, you can start to watch what's happening in the rest of the world. And I mean, I just had that experience this morning. I just want to share this for a moment. Because I live here in Southern Oregon around a small town called Talent. And the Harry and David, they sell pears and baskets. Maybe you're familiar with them. They're the big corporation that lives here and or works here or whatever. They're not even owned locally. They're owned by some foreign nation. But, they have all these orchards around here, and there's all this wonderful fertile land. And in my heart, I wanted to see that land. I thought that land needs to be growing organic food locally for the people who live here. And guess what? I'm driving home now, and I'm seeing that those orchards are coming down and those organic farms are going in, and it is so beautiful. Excuse me. So I just want to say I can't take credit for doing the work, because those farmers are out there actually doing the work. But that has happened in other experiences I've had as well. As I said, I'm interested in environmental issues, and I have had some experiences. I cannot prove that is what brought them about, but it is what's happening. Maybe that's just my life experience. Maybe that's just what's happening for me. But if we do this, then we open the possibility. We open the possibility that it can happen for more people. And that's why I do this. That's why I'm sharing it with you, because I know what it's going to do in your personal life. I know that will help, but I also know that when you do this in your life, that it has not just a rippling effect, but a simultaneous effect in the hearts and minds of every human being on this earth. So I'm going to just come back to this slide here because I want to emphasize that point. All right, then, let's see. Well, it has been about 20 minutes. And okay, so Marion is asking, how do you know when you have reached the 0 point? That is such a great question. I get that question a lot about, how do you know when the heart is coherent? How do you know when this field is coherent? How do you know, when you've contacted the 0 point? It's an experience, and I think when you have it, you will know it, because to know means to go through. That's what to know means. If you haven't had that experience yet, or maybe you have and you just don't realize it, then don't give up. All right. And it's something that the very first time it happens, tends to happen spontaneously. I know the very first time I had a out-of-body experience, I was at one of my daughter's sporting events, and I was sitting in the bleachers watching. I was bored, so I decided to meditate. And before I knew it, I was pushing a barrel of supplies across the field, and I'm like, what? And I didn't freak out or anything. And then I came back to my body, and I saw the girl pushing the barrel. And I'm like, whoa, how's this? So I decided to meditate some more. I did it 2 more times. And then I felt like I was maybe invading people's privacy, and I didn't do it anymore. I didn't know that was going to happen. I think the more we practice this, just, meditating, focusing on the heart, getting into those feeling states. Also, there's more and more technology out there now. I'm exploring Jeffrey Guignac's life response frequencies. And he I've used those before, and it just helps you get into brainwave states that assist the meditation. And when that happens, it makes it easier for your brain to connect to that 0 point in the heart. And one of the products he is creating right now is a heart coherence frequency. As soon as I know about that for sure, I will share it with you. In fact, it'll probably be in the next module, module 4, which is when I am going to be sharing how we can use this with other practices. Okay, whether it's brainwave entrainments, tapping, heart math techniques, healing codes, remote viewing and influencing, all these other things, just meditation. All right. So knowing is knowing. It's an experience. And when it happens, I'm pretty sure that when it happens, there won't be any doubt that you'll know that that's what's going on. All right, let's see. Okay. All right. And Samuel wanted to know, can the 0 point be reached through chakra work? All right. Like I said in module 4, I'm going to talk about that, how integrating this with any spiritual practice. I know that chakras are very important. When you create heart coherence, that helps open the 0 point, the chakra of the heart. Every chakra has its own 0 point of energy and information. So of course, when you do that work, that is going to contribute to coherence, and that will contribute to this whole process. But like I said, the thing that makes life navigation stand apart in a particular way, the reason why I teach it, because if I wouldn't teach it if there were other ways, to do this, and I would just recommend other people's things. But what I found with this is that this is the only one I know that uses your all your physical senses and identifies thoughts and uses your hands to make them into something physical, okay, to identify fear-based beliefs and send them back through the heart consciously, to ask consciously and intentionally for love-based truth about that particular thing, so that your heart then transforms or gives substance to that particular thought form with love-based truth. Do you see the difference here, the power that I'm talking about? It's not just a momentary experience. I'm talking about permanent transformation here of a particular area. Now, as we go through life and we keep creating more scenarios, then we keep doing this. But like I said, it eventually gets to autopilot. And I believe that's where humanity is heading, where this thing will just be on autopilot, and no one will have to learn how to do it consciously. I think it is happening spontaneously. When I look around and I see some of the results that people are getting and things that are happening, I'm like, that has to be what's going on. This is a conscious way where we can target, okay, that energy and information from the heart to transform the substance that we are using to give to that form, that glass. All right, that's filled with the water. Okay, so like I said, in the next module, or not in the next module, but in the next lesson, I'm going to be doing a live Q&A, and I will be answering more questions. I've been getting other questions from other platforms. I'm also going to send some questions out to you. Sometimes your answers are even more valuable than mine. So I want to hear from you so that we can share those with the whole community. All right, I guess that's it for now. Keep asking the heart for love-based truth. Keep practicing. If you are one who feels like you're not getting answers from the heart yet, then keep practicing meditation, heart coherence. In the next module, I am going to share more ways that can help you get to that state of heart or state of mind, to help you, access the heart faster for love-based truth. I did recently have, just to encourage you, I had a coaching client just last week who in just 20 minutes, we were able to barrel through 2 major things in his life. So it is possible, and it does happen, and it will happen. You just might be in a place in your life right now where, you need to take a little more time. Okay. that's it for now. Thank you again so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for helping to create a mind with heart for yourself and for the rest of the world. And I will see you next week. But until then, bye for now.